Knock, knock. Cash envelopes. Just kidding. It's me. I was at the door. To tell you about cash envelopes, a very tried and true budgeting system that's been working for people for years. So let's talk about how to use the cash envelope system and why it's been so successful for so many. Are you ready? The foundation that underlies the cash envelope system is that you're only budgeting with the money you actually have, and that is one of the most impactful features of this system. No matter what day of the month it is or how soon your next paycheck is coming, you can only put physical cash in an envelope, so that's what we do. Kicking us off, step one, we get our envelopes, we get a pen, and maybe a cup of coffee. Let's say I just received my paycheck yesterday for $1,000, and since we only budget the money we have, that's what I'll be putting into my envelopes. I'll also get paid later in the month, but I don't have that paycheck yet, so we're just gonna pretend that money doesn't even exist. Now, it's time to figure out what your needs are. How much do you need for rent, utilities, kids, food, fun, all that? And out of all these different categories and expenses in our lives, which ones are our spending categories? Because these are the categories we want to make envelopes for. For today's example, I'm gonna make gas, groceries, and fun money my cash envelopes, but you can have as many cash envelopes as you want. For expenses like rent or utilities, these aren't typically the categories where our true overspending troubles lie. I mean, I'm not trying to pay extra rent. And I have them all set up on autopay anyway, so I'm not gonna make envelopes for them. On each envelope, I've written the category as well as the total I plan to stuff that envelope with. So groceries, I wrote 300, gas, I gave 100, and fun money 100 as well. Side note, don't feel weird if your numbers or categories look super different from mine. We all have vastly different circumstances in our lives, so you do you. Step two, add up the total that you are going to need to withdraw from the bank, which for me today will be $500 total. I'm gonna leave the other $500 of my paycheck in my checking account to go toward rent and utilities and stuff like that. Before you go to the bank, predetermine how many of each bill you want to withdraw. I don't really want them to give me 5 $100 bills, and you can't stuff $30 in an envelope if they only give you 20s, right? So jot down the denominations on a sticky note to hand to the teller when you get to the bank. Step three, we stuff those envelopes and we live our lives by the envelopes. So when I go to the grocery store, I'll take my groceries envelope with me, and this is all the money I have for groceries. Not just for today, but for the whole month. When it's time to check out, pay for the purchase with your cash, grab a pen, and subtract the purchase total from your envelope total. This gives you a running total at all times of what's in your envelope, so you always know what you're working with. Step four, at the end of the month, whatever money is left in the envelopes will still be in the envelopes. So when it's time to restuff for the new month, add however much money gets you back up to your envelope total. Or you can take whatever bonus cash was left in the envelope at the end of the month and reallocate it to another envelope, like your vacation envelope or a new guitar envelope. Then step five, lather, rinse, repeat. Do the whole thing over again. Spend money out of the envelopes only on the things you're supposed to. And if there's money at the end of the month, you can leave it in the envelope or move it to another envelope that you also want to build up. The reason this method is so impactful is because you're physically seeing the financial status of your spending categories. You've put a cap on how much you want to give yourself for groceries or fun money, and you know when you're scraping the bottom of the metaphorical groceries barrel. Or on the flip side, if your dining out envelope is super fat and thick, you know you probably have the green light to order some takeout tonight if you want to. No stress to be had. Now, I use the cash envelope system myself every day, but I do it on my phone. You Need a Budget loved the cash envelope system so much that we actually turned it into an app because we loved how much awareness we had surrounding our money using the cash envelope system, but we didn't really love carrying around hundreds of dollars on our person all day. Plus, holding up the checkout line at the grocery store to update my envelope total was getting pretty awkward. So You Need a Budget, or YNAB, took the envelope system and made it digital. It fits in your pocket, it can be updated anywhere, anytime, and it can even be shared with a partner halfway across the world. Can't do that with envelopes now, can ya? In your budget, you create categories which act as your envelopes, just digital. When you get your paycheck, add it to your budget, and you'll find those dollars sitting at the top of the app waiting to be stuffed into your digital envelopes. Decide how much money you want to put into each of your digital envelopes, and let me tell you, now that I'm not limited to the size of my purse or my pocket or worried about losing my envelopes, I have about 52 digital envelopes in my budget, and I freaking love it. One for the vet, one for coffee, Spotify, license renewal a year from now, doggy daycare. Literally every expense I could possibly imagine, I've made a digital envelope for it in my YNAB budget. It also makes it super easy to move money from one envelope to another because life happens. So if I overspend on groceries one week, all I need to do is pick another fuller category in my budget that's less important to me, and I can cover that overspending with just a few taps. And friends, there are literally so many other features I could tell you about. Targets to reach your savings goals, the loan planner to knock out your debt. It's wild. So what will the change look like for you if you go from budgeting with cash envelopes to budgeting with YNAB? Well, in a lot of ways, it's gonna look exactly the same, but no more late night envelope stuffing, pencils at the cash register, huge wads of cash in your pocket, just you, your phone, and all the financial clarity you could ever want right in your pocket. If you'd like to learn more about how to budget, reach your savings goals, and tackle your debt with You Need a Budget, check out the description below for some helpful links and videos to get you started and begin your free 34-day trial. Until then, keep those envelopes stuffed and happy budgeting.